Hello. Hello. Now, recently with video games, I have come to the realization that single player games are terrible. And I've come to this after the fact that in Australia, in Victoria, we are currently in a lockdown. And I really don't like talking to people, especially my friends. They piss me off. So recently I've been looking for single player games to play through and just stuff like that, right? And I've looked at mainly free games because I'm broke. I've looked at free games all over Steam, all over Epic Games, and I can't seem to find anything that strikes my fancy, quote unquote. Games like Doom Eternal, Cyberpunk 2077, Forza Horizon 4, Bus Simulator, and just single player games, Borderlands, Rage 2, games like that. Now, many of those aren't free, but I got them for free, except for Cyberpunk. I dished out too much money for that game, and I regret spending that much money on it. But I see that, like, a lot of these games are good quality games. Don't get me wrong, these are made by companies like Bethesda, CD Projekt Red, and big game developing companies. But I don't seem to be getting anything really just good. Like, there's no problems with it, like Cyberpunk, all the bugs, all the performance issues, but they have addressed some of the performance issues, which I will say which I will talk to you guys about in another video. But I have seen that a lot of games are either just lackluster or they run terribly. Now, I don't have a terrible computer, but I don't necessarily have the best computer. I have a Ryzen 3 3100, a GTX 1050 Ti, and 16 gigabytes of RAM. And that's pretty modest for nowadays. Yes, it can't run 60 FPS at the highest settings at 4K, but it gets the job done for 1080p medium low settings, which is what you would think would happen. But no, I have Cyberpunk. I know it's Cyberpunk, but I have Cyberpunk running at maybe 60 FPS at resolutions that are almost unplayable. Now, I do sound a bit privileged here, considering I'm got 1080p most of the time with a lot of the games that I do play. But when you play a game at barely 60 FPS and you're not, and that's not even consistent. I'm going up from upwards of 70 FPS, buttery smooth for what 70 FPS can be on a 60 Hz monitor, going down all the way to maybe 15, 20 FPS regularly. And when you're in a fight scene in the middle of a mission, kind of gets annoying when you literally, when someone is right in front of you and they just teleport behind you. It's just unplayable. I'm not restricted by anything like internet or anything like that. I can play multiplayer games. I just find myself going towards more single player focused, personal focused games, not team based games like Valorant, Call of Duty, and Counter-Strike, games like that, and Rocket League. I just find that there's not necessarily any what would you call it, variety, in the sense that, like, games that are good either run terribly they just run terrible. Like Doom Eternal. I've tried it before. It doesn't download on my computer anymore. Microsoft Store. I don't know. Fix your shit. I see that I can barely even get. I can get 60 FPS. A smooth 60 FPS. No stutters, no nothing. But I'm like Cyberpunk. I'm going all the way down to a half my resolution to even get playable frame rates. Now, a lot of people, like maybe you watching this video, might not have this problem because you might have a boring ass gaming computer, or you don't mind 30 FPS or 15 for that matter. But when it's consistent in every single player game that you play, where you're trying to enjoy the environment and get a half decent playable frame rate, it's kind of annoying. Like Forza Horizon 4, I can play at ultra settings at 55 FPS. It looks stunning. Not 60, but it's 55 FPS. Now that's a very, very small example. Very small example of how it could be annoying. It's 55 FPS. You could be even lucky to get 30 FPS on last generation consoles, but just seeing that, like, you can't get such a good visual quality with at least 60 FPS, it's just not good. Like, yes, this is just my system, GTX 1050 Ti, Ryzen 3 3100. I'm not annoyed with the computer I have. I'm privileged to even have the computer that I have. But what I'm saying is that games need to be more optimized, especially single player games that many people are going to be playing during these tough times. We had it last year, we had it this year. Last year we had great games come out like Valorant, mainly Valorant, especially if you want to play games with your friends. But going into this year, and especially with like kids from last year growing up, like me, I haven't even gotten that much older, but just like sticking more to myself and not really being with friends as often as I used to be. Just it's disappointing to see that literally just takes away from your just experience in general with most games. It's annoying, really. Grand Theft Auto 5, for example, that single player runs great. Single player, like 100 FPS, zooming down Vespucci in a supercar. Soon as you go online, you might spawn into your house and you get 100 FPS. Soon as you leave your house, 30 FPS. 30 FPS. I don't know what it is. It might just be because RAM usage or just stuff like that, and how complicated the game has gone since it was first released to PC in 2015. I just find that it's pretty annoying when you have the experience that you have in single player, 100 FPS, smooth, buttery smooth, and then you go into even the best computers out there even struggle to run GTA at max settings at 60 FPS on GTA Online. Max settings on GTA 5 isn't even that good. This game originally came out for consoles in 2013. We're talking about 2013 Ultra Graphics, so that might be medium settings these days. Maybe low. But, yeah. Genshin Impact. Great, beautiful game. Art style, beautiful. Especially at higher settings. Higher or ultra settings, beautiful. But it's just not that well optimized. And you might think that 50 FPS at higher settings is more than enough, especially for a game like Genshin Impact. But when you come from fucking esports titles like Valorant, CSGO, League of Legends, Dota 2, games like that, Osu, just really just lightweight games like that, from my point of view, you can yell at me all you want in the comment section down below. I just don't see that online games and single player games should really have that much of a performance difference from going from game to game, in a sense, if that makes sense. So yeah, thank you for listening to my opinion. Drop your opinions down below in the comments. I find that this is pretty interesting. It's just a new topic that I thought about in my head, really. And I was during the video, I'm assuming if I was bothered to edit the video and publish it, you would see overlays and FPS counters showing those differences in frame rates and quality, and what you really have to sacrifice to get the FPS or the visual quality. So yeah, I would like to give me your PC specs and game preferences down below, and tell me your experiences with this quote-unquote phenomenon that I found. Yeah, thanks for watching the video. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.